Oh, we're good. All right. All right. So, anyways, as I was saying, Messi's tied now for most goals in World Cup history, which means what? He's not going to settle with a tie. My man Messi's going to come through and he's going to break that record. So I'm putting him down for anytime goal score. That's what we're doing for that first game. After that, we're looking at this matchup. Argentina is going to smack up these guys. Most of these goals can probably be covered on their own by Argentina. So the conservative bet was to take them over 2.5. Some books are taking them Argentina themselves to win by 2.5 goals. So I feel like that might be a good option. Um, and then listen, ties happen. We've noticed that throughout this entire thing. And the great thing about Hard Rock Sports Bet is they're offering that double chance option where you can pick the team to tie or win, which is unheard of, especially after this next round because you're gonna have to go to a shootout. There's gonna be no ties. So take advantage while you can, especially of what they're offering. And that's what we did for that matchup. All right. Hold on. Go tree. All right. So moving on, we got next one, which is France. We've got that one right there. Everybody's saying Mbappe is going to kill it, and I completely agree. Mbappe is going to do really, really well in this matchup. Um, uh, Also, who's going to help him out? Well, he's got a myriad of people who could help him out. Elise is an option to take for an assist or a school goal. He did assist in the last one. He's also scored 3 goals in the 2 previous matches leading up to the World Cup. So Elise is an option. I just didn't want to lose this parlay because Elise didn't do anything. So I took the safer bet on safer bet as you can on Mbappe to go ahead and score at any time. Again, this is live for France to just get the 2.5 goals on their own. But again, you want to be smart about this. That's how we are able to cash out the one last night. Just being smart and riding it out. So being a little bit conservative, especially when you're going to be stacking these with other games like we did here, is the more prudent option. And then I really do feel like both teams are going to score. Now, you could have played this one both ways. If you took the both teams to score out, it dropped it significantly. The payout dropped from over $500 to 20 would have got me, I want to say it was like $225 or 220. So it was a very, very significant drop off with having both teams not to score or both teams to score taken out of it. Now, the thing is, France has not had a clean sheet in the past 6 matchups. So that's something to consider. They're going to concede a goal. In my mind, they might even give a mercy goal. I think mercy is a French word or mercy. I don't know how you say it, but but anyways, I think France is going to cough one up. They're not going to have a clean sheet, and that really does add value to your stuff. Now, if you want to segment these out as single game parlays, you can do that. You'll see that that's what I did here going on into the baseball ones. I kind of showed you how to do that. But again, a really, really conservative and safe bet is to take. They won't even allow you to take France to tie because they feel like that's not even going to be an option. Um, and it was like minus 1,200 or minus 12,000. So wild. Moving on to the next one, we got this Norway versus Senegal matchup. Now, this one was a little bit trickier to think about on how we were going to play it. Let me go ahead and blow this media up for you. We got Senegal over here versus Norway. That's me. So we took both teams to score, and then I put Haaland to either score or assist. I do feel that Haaland is a threat here. He's the only goal scorer that he's the only one who scored goals in their previous matchup that got them to where they needed to be. He's gonna have to do something. Um, I feel like both these teams will be okay with the tie, especially where they're at in the group brackets. Nobody really wants to take the loss, so if they go up 1-1, they might just play conservative and not really do the counters. So we'll see. But a safer bet here would just be take both teams to score, and like I put, if you want to put him as an assist or a goal scorer, you can. And then the last but not least, we've got Algeria. Everybody expects Algeria to throttle these guys. I expect it too, but there's no sure things, especially when it comes to soccer or football, however you want to say it. Yeah, Algeria, we're going to take them to tie or to win. Safe bet that out. And that's what we got there. Let me see if I can find this other one my boy sent me. Nope, 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 nope. That's baseball. That's baseball. There's more baseball. Let's see. Nope, that's more baseball. Nope. Speaking of baseball, actually, speaking of World Cup, yo, make sure you guys go out, check out we got our own little Etsy shop. These joints are available at the Etsy shop. Let me put on the side so you guys can see. Oh, shoot, I don't like that. So yes, they're available in all different sizes. Make sure you check it out. Um, I got mine coming in the mail. Should be here in the next couple of days. So you'll see it in the next video that I drop. I got my Justin Gaethje shirt coming in the mail today. So I'm going to drop that in the next video. Yo, UFC fights were crazy. I know we're talking about World Cup, but let's just talk about that real quick. The fights over the weekend. Yo, your man went 5 for 7 out of fights not to finish. I know it happens. You can't win them all. Did make some money on that come around. If you check out my shorts, I put all the winnings over the weekend. Yo, Navajo Sterling is a beast, dude. Um, so yeah, the UFC, we got another banger coming up. So make sure you check out the channel. We're gonna go ahead and put some more stuff out there for you guys. Again, just trying to fill everybody's pockets. All right, enough about that. Let's jump back into this. Yes, make sure you check out the Legendary Merch Shack. It's on Etsy. We've got great shirts like this. Got a new logo coming up. So yeah, big things to come. All right, moving on. Let's jump into this. Time to play ball. We got MLB props and parlays. All right, so there's like 9 games, okay? 9 of them. So what I did was for the first 4, I went ahead and just ran through the pictures. I got some props up there for the first 4, and then for the remaining 5, we're just gonna run through them live. No, the props aren't gonna be on the screen. No, the selections won't be on the screen for those last 5. But if you write them down or watch this thing back, you'll be able to go with them. And actually, I'll be able to break it down how we look at them lineup by lineup, look at the matchups. You can look at it in real time with me and, maybe help you out. All right. So first up, we got Yankees versus Detroit Tigers. All right. Put this one away, pull that one out. So what I did for these was I went ahead and pulled out every one. I parted out, single gamed them. And then that way, if you want to go ahead and stack them up towards the end, you can stack them up towards the end. If you don't want to stack them up, if you feel conservative, like, hey, I like this game matchup versus the other game matchup, you can see what that would pay out. All right. So, well, I mean, there we go. All right. Here we go. So this is that first matchup right here. We got, as you guys see, we got Kerry Carpenter for a hit. Now I know Kerry Carpenter's been a little cold, but the thing about this is, and I'll explain that when I go through this matchup later on. These batters, especially midway through the game, season. July is midway through the season, so we're almost midway through the season. They've got patterns already established. They've already played 62 games on the road against these batters, against these pitchers, and they know what to look for. They got an eye for the ball. So the thing about Kerry Carpenter is he's got a pattern. He's due for a hit. He's usually a hit, no. If he no hits, he's got 2 games where he no hits. Well, guess what? He just did a second game no hit. My man's due. It's cyclical. Okay, it just works out. Now, Jose Caballero, he's not on a no hitting streak. My man's on fire. All right, so he's on a heater right now. Make sure you follow him out for this one for the hits. That one's gonna go well. We got Cole and Valdez. Now, do I think Framber Valdez is going to get more than 3 Ks? Absolutely. I think he'll probably get like 4 Ks. But there's chances where he gets blown up early in the innings by these batters, and it doesn't go well for him. Same thing that can be said for Garrett Cole. So we're going to conservatively put this one in. Now, you can see even that $5 gets you 15. So it's not a bad pit in. Again, you got to undervalue, add a value. That's what we're going to teach you here on the Legendary Sports Show. How to undervalue, add a value. All right? That's how we do it on Legendary Sports. Moving on, we got this next card. Our next baseball game, we got Kansas City versus Tampa Bay. All right, so that's these boys right here. Here we go. Now, I don't know if you guys watched the Rays game yesterday, but we made money on that one. I cashed out a little early, but I had Rays to win and for them to get over 3 runs, and that was when they were already down 3-2. So, bro, these bats are hot in Tampa Bay. All right, so we got my man Rasmussen for 4 Ks. Now, again, Rasmussen, he's borderline 3-4 Ks. 3 to 5 Ks. But we're gonna take him for 4. He does a pretty good favorable matchup against this squad, and he's just proven against them. There's something that he does, the way he releases, that they're just not there for him. All right, moving on next, we got Michael Walker. Now, I really wanted to take Michael Walker for 2Ks, but then the man's been hot. If you check out his stat sheets, he's been hitting throwing about 6 to 8 Ks before he came down for those last 4 games. Last 4 games, he kind of floundered. Last time against Tampa, he had 9 Ks. I'm not taking the man for 9 Ks. You can lose me with that. I'll take him for the 3 Ks and kind of hold my breath. So again, as you guys can see, very, very safe, very, very easy, manageable bets. Now, my man Cedric Mullins, I know he's not a household name yet, but he is getting there. He catches for the Rays. He's been on a tear, man. And the way he's seeing the ball lately, he's batting over 330. He's been on fire. He's got hits in the past 3 games. And again, we got Yandy Diaz. Now, Yandy Diaz, whew, he's slanging it, man. He's probably going to want to be an all-star this year. If anything, if there's any all-stars off the Tampa Bay Rays, he's probably going to be one of them. He's been seeing it very well. Junior Camarero is probably another one who's been pegged as possible all-star. But hey, I'm not the one who makes the votes. It's the fans who do the votes for that. So, yep, we got my man Yandy Diaz. Again, that one pays out 5, gets you 14. Very, very easy, low-hanging fruit. And that's what we do here, man, on the Legendary Sports Show. We just talk about the low-hanging fruit, and if you like it, take it. If you don't like it, toss it. Moving on to this next matchup. Right here, we got my man. Dang it, boy. All right, we got Tyler Phillips. That's right. That's Miami Marlins versus the Texas Rangers. So these Marlins have been on fire. They're probably they came back and won yesterday. They've been on a streak as far as winning their past previous series. They're one of the few teams to beat Ohtani, and Skeens. Hey, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. We're just talking about some baseball. All right. So again, moving on, we got Tyler Phillips matchup versus Rocker. Now, Rocker, he's about anywhere between 3 to 5 Ks. But again, we've got some bats. It's a righty on righty matchup. The Marlins had a tough matchup yesterday against the Phillies. Not the Phillies, but they had a tough matchup yesterday against their opponent. They had a left-handed pitcher matchup, and it was tough for them. So these bats are ready to go against especially a right-handed thrower, and it should be nice. So again, safe bet here. We're taking Rocker for 3Ks. We're taking Phillips for 3Ks. And for favorable matchups as far as hitters go, we've got Lopez and Edwards. And again, if you just came into the chat, make sure you like and subscribe, or at least hit the like button. It helps the algorithm, gets this channel out to more people so we can get some more viewers. All right, moving on to the Philadelphia versus Washington matchup. Phillies, woo! Those Phillies, if you guys saw the night game, oh man. I had a parlay in yesterday. I should have cashed that bad boy out. Bo Bichette did not come through for me. Everybody else did. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out. It was a 30, get you 145. We got into about the 7th inning, and Bo Bichette was up to go hit again. And they gave me that cash out option to like $36, and I should have cashed it out. No. Well, that's the thing. You got to learn, sometimes when to let it go, sometimes when to just keep it rolling. So don't be afraid to cash out. You ain't losing. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about that one. We've got Griffin. Let me clear that out. Get this next one ready. All right. We got. All right. We got Foster Griffin for 3.5 strikeouts and Kyle Schwarber for 1 hit. All right. So pretty basic, pretty easy, pretty vanilla. If you're just trying to look to add that onto something else to sprinkle it, it's something you can do. Again, we're going for the low hanger fruit, man. I'm not trying to throw out some crazy stuff. I just did that earlier with the soccer. All right. Let's go on. In fact, now that I'm looking at it, I think this is the what is that? Yes. All right. So this was the other soccer. No, this was not. Oh, this is if you put everything together. that we just talked about. Oh no, sorry about that. You put everything together that we just talked about, string them all together, that's what it pays out. $10 pays out $514.58 or 58 cents. Now the great thing is most of these games are stacked on top of each other. So as these low-hanging fruits are starting to get filled and all these green things start getting checked, then you're gonna start seeing those cash out offers. So that's something you want to be mindful of when you're putting in a long parlay like this. Is as it's going, keep an eye on your phone, keep an eye on whatever app, because you are going to get offers as it starts to hit. Also, the later and later you get into the games, the less and less opportunities these batters have to bat. That's also something you want to be mindful of as well. Take my word for it because I found out last night I should have cashed out early, but hey, something that's how the cookie crumbles, man. It just happens that way sometimes. All right. So again, if you strung all those together, those four games we talked about, that's what would pay out right there. All right. So let's jump back into this and show you guys how to run through these MLB props and parlays. We got the rest of these games to go through, and I'm gonna do that live with you right now in real time. Again, these are not gonna be up on the board. I won't be able to show them up there, so it'll run through pretty quick. And if you're somebody who's watching and we talk about one of those favorable games that you like, or maybe you think one of these hitters are going to get a hit, just put it in the chat and we could just move this thing along. All right, cool. So last matchup was Philly versus Washington. So now we're talking about Toronto versus Houston. We got Brown versus Cease as the pitcher matchup. My man Cease, they're both right-handed pitchers. We got Dylan Cease coming into his previous last three games. He's gotten 7, 11, and 8 for the strikeouts. You look at his last other games, still 9, 8. Oof. Make this another parlay. All right, so we're gonna put Cease for 7, 7 to 8 Ks. I like that. I'd put Dylan Cease for at least 7 to 8 Ks, especially against his matchup. He doesn't really have. He has 3 people that are hitting over 300 on him. You got Smith, but Smith doesn't look like he's been hot lately. Cam Smith, nah, he hasn't. Cam Smith's batting 250. He's right at 1 for 4 average. When we're looking at our batters, we want to get hot. We're looking for matchups of anybody who's way over 350. You want to be about a 3-to-1 ratio of how many times he's at bat. Also, if they've matched up against a certain pitcher, you want them ideally to be, yeah, Jose Altuve looks like he's ready. You want them to ideally have been able to see that pitcher at least over a dozen times. Why? Patterns. They're going to know what to look for. Just like think about you as an individual. You visit a place more than 3 or 4 times, you've already have patterns that you're looking for, things that you're trying to establish. So, quicker ways of being able to get your objective. If your objective is to get a hit, or watching how a pitcher releases. Yeah, we're gonna take Altuve in this one also for a hit. Altuve. All right, so we got Dylan Cease for 7 to 8 Ks. We got Jose Altuve for a hit, and we're gonna go ahead and look at this matchup with the other pitcher. All right, which is Brown, Hunter Brown. All right, Hunter Brown coming in here. He ain't no slouch himself. Again, 7, 8, 9. Pretty well. Last time he was up against the Blue Jays, man, swiped him out with 9 Ks. So you know what we're gonna do? It's gonna be one of those nights. You can already tell. They said, "Hey, you want to put your ace up on the mound? Well, we're gonna put our ace up on the mound. We'll see how he does. Because my dad can kick your dad's butt. No, my dad can kick your dad's butt." So that's what they're doing right now. As for hits, I'd probably either go with Springer. Has been pretty decent. He's gotten some props for us lately. Let's check him out. Absolutely. Springer's seeing the ball very well. Well, I wouldn't say very well. He's about 321 right now. So Springer would be a possibility to put down for a hit if you want to sprinkle something on that. So we got Cease for 7 to 8 Ks, Hunter Brown for 7 to 8 Ks, Jose Altuve for a hit, and we'll put a question mark next to Springer. All right, and that's how you do it. It's that simple. You look through it, you look for the patterns, you look for what's going on, and you undervalue. For example, you just saw me tell you that Cease and Brown both are pitching anywhere between 8 to 10 Ks. We're not going to take them for that. We'll take them maybe for the 7. And if I see 6 out of value, at least maybe minus 500, I'd probably take them at the 6 just to, cover yourself just in case. All right, moving on. Especially if you're going to stack it. If you're going to do it as a standalone game and you're trying to maximize your value, and then that's when you maybe take them for the 8Ks both, and then Altuve and possibly Springer. All right. Moving on, we got Mets versus Cubs. Man, these Cubs, woo! These Cubs have been tearing them boys up. I don't know if you guys saw the matchup that the Cubs versus the Toronto Blue Jays, and that's why Toronto's angry because they just got smacked up by the Cubs over the weekend. Um, I'm pretty sure they lost that series. The Cubs put over 8 runs in like consecutive games against them, and just imagine getting mollywopped by 8 runs consecutive games. So they're going to be looking out for blood. Their bats are going to be ready to swing because they haven't been able to hit anything previously. And this is who we got. We've got Imanaga for the Cubs pitching. He's a decent pitcher. You look at innings pitched. That's another thing you want to look at when you're looking at these strikeouts for these pitchers. If they are, if they're not being utilized very much, if they're a pitcher that comes out for maybe 1 to 2 innings, then you know right there it's going to be that type of a day for that organization. It's going to be a bullpen day where they're planning to probably either empty out the bullpen or cycle at least 3 to 4 pitchers out there. So don't put much stock into a pitcher that's going to only give you 1 or 2 innings, especially if you know. Hey, it's Nicholas. You have me. Hey, good to see you, Nicholas. How you doing, bud? So yeah, again, that's one thing to look at. If they're not giving you much value as far as innings go, don't waste your time on it. It's a lost cause. They're gonna frustrate you, and you're just gonna feel bad for yourself because why are you gonna ask something to do that they don't do? Moving on to strikeouts for my man Imanga. It looks decent. I'd probably take him for 3Ks. I think the last time he went up against the Mets, 3Ks. Eh, all right. Yeah, we'll take Imanga for 3Ks. Looking at the matchups, oof, he's got a couple people that have been beating him up. We got Torrens who's batting over 333. We got Seaman, but he's only seen him 2 times. And then we got Batty. I think Batty has been doing pretty well. Nope, he might no. We faded him last time. Nope, no man. Nope, he did not do well. Okay, yeah, we'll leave that one alone. Um, Nope. Yeah. So we're taking him for 3Ks. And then we're looking, we got a West Coast duel here. We got Senga versus Imani. Okay. And same thing with Senga. Senga's looking like anywhere between about 4 to 6, and about 4Ks. But he bad matchup last time. We'll take him for 3Ks. All right. That's a low hanging game right there. And I don't see any batting matchups that I want to go ahead and spend money on. So again, we're going to take for that Mets matchup. We got Imanga and Senga both for 3Ks. Uh, Look for the Cubs to be thirsty. They're going to swing at a lot of things. They want to make some offense happen. So that's why I'd probably take them, look at Senga to get those 3Ks pretty easy. He hasn't had a win yet. But hey, it should be a good one. In fact, actually, man, PCR hasn't gotten anything against this guy. He's been hot for me. Because it's a lefty on righty matchup. Mm, I don't know, man. I'd probably put a question mark next to PCR. He's always live for a hit. Um, kind of like how I guess put a question mark next to Springer. But again, I didn't really see anything that was super favorable. And that's a 7-10 game. All right, moving on. What we got? We got Brewers versus Cincinnati. All right, so we got Singer on the mound. He's a right-handed pitcher. Uh, he, he's consistent, man. Mr. Steady Eddie over here. You're looking at his last 3 games. He's got 5, 5, and 6 for the Ks. Strikeouts before that, 6. He had a couple of mishaps where he got blown up. He does allow hits to happen. So that's also something you want to consider when you're looking at these pitching matchups. And if there's going to be somebody who can give you hits for the batters, if they're a pitcher who's just solid on the mound, and because of what their stuff that they're throwing, maybe they do a lot of grounders or maybe they do a lot of pop-ups. You're not going to get as many strikeouts. Yeah, they're going to go deep into the game because they get you outs, and yes, they do help stop the offense, but they're not going to get you the Ks. They'll go deep. They're not going to get you the Ks. So that's why you want to look for somebody who's allowing hits, somebody who's allowing runs, and they still keep them in the game. So for this guy, Singer, we'll put Singer down for 4Ks. maybe 3 if the props are if it's above 500 for it. So 3 to 4Ks for Singer. I don't really see any kind of crazy batter matchups here. And the site that I use is MLB.com. You can use MLB.com to go ahead and look at these players. They show you some averages. They'll show you game logs. They show you whips and different batting matchups. Now that I think about it, yeah. That's last time against the Brewers, how did he do? 3Ks, 3Ks. Shoot, 7Ks, 4Ks, 5Ks. Yeah, I'm solid in this 3 to 4K matchup. All right. And that's the other thing. You have a lot of these analytics. The more you know, the more you're going to grow in the pockets. Okay. So remember that. The more you know, the more your pockets will grow. And that's what we're looking at right now. Just getting information, looking at the stats, looking for trends, moving on. All right. So, yep. And we don't know who's pitching yet for the Brewers. Um, we just do know that, wow, Frelick has had a pretty good. He's got a couple guys who got pretty good matchups. So, for example, case in point here, we got Vaughn. Vaughn versus Singer. Vaughn has seen Singer 35 times at bat. Okay, his average is 257. On base percentage 649. This is when we go ahead and say, I'm interested. So you click on Andrew Vaughn, see how he's doing. Has he been hitting very well? Well, currently in his past 7 games, he's got 4 hits at 15 at bats. If you ask me, that's below the threshold. You want to, it's kind of right there at the threshold. You want him at about 3 to 4 at bat hitting. So he's batting 267, but overall in the past 15 games at 39 at bats, he's batting 385. He has a very favorable matchup against this person because he's seen him so frequently. And again, like I said, you're looking at people who stay in the game. We look at Singer. How long does he stay in the game? How many innings does he normally pitch? And they keep him in there. It's about the 5th inning, 4th inning, 6th inning, 5th inning, 4th inning. So he averages about 4 innings, 4 to 5 innings. And depending upon where my man Andrew Vaughn is in the lineup, he may see him twice. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with Andrew Vaughn for a hit in this one. All right. Moving on. We're getting there. We're getting there. Hopefully, you guys are learning something. Hopefully, you guys are checking out how to look through these lines. It's a lot easier to do this live and in person. Man, there's a lot more games. I ain't going through all these games. All right. Then we got Lauer versus Matthews for the Dodgers versus Twins matchup. All right. We got Lauer at 40K so far for the year. He's a lefty. Averages around 3 to 4 strikeouts a game. To keep him in the game for about 5 to 6 innings. You know what that tells me? Probably put him down for 3 to 4Ks. Look at his matchups last time versus the Twins. And he's batting 2Ks, 4Ks. So, yeah, right there. About 2 to 3Ks. So, if you want to put him in, put him in. My rule of thumb, if a guy isn't going to get you less than 3Ks, it's probably not worth the struggle. If they're struggling for 4 or 5 innings just to get you 2 strikeouts, then, you're going to get frustrated because they're going to do exactly what they do. They struggle to get 2 strikeouts. So, yeah, I may leave Lauer off of this one. I put him down for 2 to 3Ks. We'll see what they're offering, but they're probably going to give you like minus 1,000 for 2Ks for him. So, may not be worth it. Again, he's somebody who probably he pops the ball up, people make contact, and they get outs. That's what Zebby. Good old Zebby. We had Zebby on the bet slip over the weekend. If you watched the videos, you'll probably see he got us some money in that. Oh yeah, he got us some money in that 11-legger. I want to say that was Saturday morning before the fights. Yep. So that 10 got us 11. That 10 got us 105. So yeah, I'm putting Zebby down for 3 to 4Ks. All right. He scared the heck out of me last time. I didn't think he was gonna get those 4Ks. He got blown up in the game, but they kept him, man. They kept him in for 7 innings. So you know what? We're going, 3 to 4Ks. If you're feeling bold, take him for the 4. If you're feeling that, take him for the 3. But I'll put him in. And the thing is, he gives up hits. So you already know there's probably gonna be some favorable matchups in this game. So we look at who he's got. Oh yeah, the Dodgers. Who do you think is gonna hit him? You already know. We got probably Freeman. We probably got Otani's probably going to get a hit off of him. So let's see. How's Freeland been doing? No, Freeland has not been doing well. For last at bats, for 20 at bats, he's gotten 4 hits. So that's not good. But remember what I told you, people are cyclical. So let's look and see when was the last time he got a hit and if he's due for another one. So usually he's going on a 2 no hit pattern. He did a 3-legger. He did a 3-legger early in the year. But pretty much when he gets a no hit, ooh, wow, he had a bad stretch there. Usually it's going to be, I can't say that, 4-4-2. Last time he snapped out of it, yeah, if you want to take a flyer on him, you can, but let's see if there's anybody else. Who do you think is going to win the World Cup this year? I have to go with Colombia. I don't know. I don't know about that. Spain showed everybody why they were Spain yesterday. Um, Colombia does look good, but we'll see what happens after the knockouts. Because after the knockouts, then it's fair game. Um, yeah. Does Argentina keep it going? Does Messi keep it going? Oh, so Leandro, we did the World picks. If you want to watch this a little bit earlier or look back in it, we did the World Cup picks that we did for today. So you can check that out. But yeah, I'm gonna put that down. We'll see how Colombia's still in it after the knockout rounds. Cool. So back to this one. Yeah, I don't know if I'd take Freeland. He is kind of streaky. He may be due good for a hit. He may not. Maybe that's something you want to live bet or look at if he's on your fantasy team. I don't know if that's somebody you want to. Hold on. You know how to open the door, Chewy. You know how to open the door. Come on. Pain in the butt. All right. Trying to do this. All right. Sorry about that. I had to let the dog in. I want to act like he didn't know how to open the door. All right. So we'll go back to this matchup here. We have Lauer versus Matthews. Again, we're going to take Lauer for maybe 2 to 3 Ks possibly, and Matthew for 3 to 4 Ks. Understand with the exception, you might want to dig in this a little bit better, but we got guys that are going to get hits. We got Buxton that's good for hits. We got Bell that's good for a hit. This is going to be yeah. Especially with the low amount of strikeouts that these guys are going to go. I don't know, man. I'd probably take them for the lower end of their strikeouts because they're going to get smacked up. Let's see how Otani's been looking. If he's due for a hit. Oh, yeah. Otani's been on a 2-hitter. Sometimes he doesn't do well. Sometimes he does do well. That's the thing about Otani. Okay. Yeah. Hit. No hits. Hit. No hits. Hit. No hits. The pattern for Otani is that he is due for a hit. I feel like it's a magic 8-ball. So, yeah, I'd put Otani for a hit on this one. Buxton and Bell. And Lauer for 2 Ks and Matthew for the 3 Ks. Or not even put them for the Ks and just buckle up tight and put those guys for hits. Because they're gonna get smacked up. All right. Moving on. We got Cleveland Guardians versus Chicago White Sox. We got Gavin Williams. He's the pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians. He's a righty. And we're going to put him down for about 3 Ks. He's pitching between 4 to 6 Ks in his last 3 games. I'd say 3 Ks would be a very safe. Wow, 3 Ks. 3 Ks is probably going to get you no value. Probably 4 Ks would be your best bet. Looking at the last time that he went against the White Sox, he straight destroyed them. 7 Ks, 5 Ks. Yeah, I'd say Williams 3 to 4 Ks would be a very, very conservative bet, especially if you're going to stack it. Yeah. Is he going to get over that? Probably. He'll probably get 4 to 5 Ks. But again, we want to hit these. We don't want to just like put these out there and be sweating it because we missed it by 1. So that's what we've learned, especially if you're going to be stacking these things. Vegas doesn't want to give you money. That's what they do. So we got Anthony K. Again, he's a lefty, so this is a lefty matchup here. Anthony K is not as consistent as Williams. Anthony K is pitching anywhere between 3 to 4 Ks. So you look at his game logs. How long do they keep him in for? They don't give this guy very much of a leash. He stays in maybe 3 to 4 innings. He gets hits against them. He was on a nice streak of 4 to 5 Ks last month. I'd probably put him 3 Ks. I'd put Anthony K for 3 Ks. If you want to be risky, you could put him for the 3 to 4, but he's gonna get hit on. He's he's gonna get hit on. Let's see. Actually, all right. I mean, give it a shot. I'd put him down for anywhere 3 to 4 Ks for those matchups. And that's Cleveland. All right, let's flip the page. There's a couple of good favorable matchups in here. I'm gonna have to put in some side ones after I'm done making this video about y'all live. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone because it takes a long time to do all these things. So here we go. We got 4 matchups left. Golly, thank you. We got 4 matchups left. We got Arizona versus St. Louis. So we got Kelly, me, Merrill Kelly. Oh man, Merrill. He got beat up on. He gives up hits. Anywhere he's pretty inconsistent. He's anywhere between 3 to 5 is his range. He does have a bad. He did have a bad game. Came back and threw 4 Ks. It seems like whenever he has a bad game of less than 2 or 3 Ks, he comes back strong, which is good for us. He had 4 Ks last game, so I'd probably put him anywhere between 3 to 4 Ks. Looking at his history here against the Cardinals, we got Merrill Kelly. All right, he got 6 Ks and 5 Ks. So yeah, I put him anywhere between 4. I put him for 4 Ks. I feel confident doing that. I didn't see any crazy matchups with him as far as the batters go. He got one batter that's batting over 300 on him, and he's only seen him 6 times. That's Herrera. Herrera's looking pretty good. Nah, he's right there. He's batting at 217, 29. So yeah, I'd say I put him for the 4 Ks. He doesn't really have any crazy viable threats against him. Maybe Burleson. Burleson has not been batting well. And then you look at Arizona. Who do we got on Arizona that can pose a threat to him? We got Del Castillo. Del Castillo is in a little bit of a slump. Yeah, this is going to be a pitcher's. Yeah, these guys are going to get torn up. So the previous matchup that we talked about where we said that these batters are going to tear up the pitchers, I feel like this is one where the pitchers are going to be tearing up the batters. So we got Merrill Kelly for the 4 Ks, and we got Palante. We're going to look at him. Andre Palante, he's got strikeouts, 665 over his past 3 games. Anywhere strikeouts 3 range. I'd say 3 to 4 would be a pretty solid thing with him. Probably on the 4 because it didn't really look like he had any opposition as far as the batters go. So there's no favorable batting matchups that we saw in there. So the pitchers are going to have their way with them. And these guys, they pitch deep. Palante pitches all the way into the 7th and the 6th inning. Kelly pitches into like the 5th inning, 6th inning, especially if it's a low scoring event and the pitchers are just having their way with it. They're probably going to keep those guys out on the mound. I mean, when you look at the number of pitches thrown, yeah, Palante's in the 90 range. They keep him out there. Even if he does get hit up on, and he's not going to get hit up on. All right, moving on. All right, we got 3 left in this. We got Boston versus Colorado. All right, this is our 8 o'clock matchup, 8:40. It doesn't look good. We got a lefty and a righty. We got Bennett for Boston. He's a lefty. This guy doesn't look too great. Last time he got smacked up in a series against the Rays, looked like they had him pitch twice against them. Let's see. I put this kid down for 3 Ks. I mean, they keep him in to about the 5th inning. He gets hits. He gives up hits, about 3 hits, but he also gives the strikeout. So I'd say 3 to 4. Bennett 3 to 4. Probably lean towards the 3 on him. Moving on, we got. Come on, what we got over here? We got Felter. He's a righty. He's a little bit more consistent than this young cat we just talked about. I'd probably take Felter for the 4Ks. Last one he had was 7Ks, 3Ks, and 4Ks. See, a bad outing. 1K came back with 4. Bad outing at 3 came back with 2. 2 came back with 4, 7. So, yeah, I'd probably put him for the 4Ks. Felter. I didn't see any crazy wild matchups again either. It looks like they just haven't seen each other, and their teams aren't necessarily the best. It's both a matchup, subpar 500 teams. So yeah, I'd probably put him for the 4. Feltner for the 4. So we got Bennett for 3 to 4Ks, and we got Feltner for 3 to 4Ks. Again, there were no favorable batting matchups. I mean, if you want to dig deep into it, maybe look at Yoshida or Contreras, go ahead. Man, I'm not touching that, dude. Especially when we got 2 left. I'm trying to get through this. All right, next we got Baltimore versus Angels. All right, this is a battle here between the 4th in the East and the 5th in the West. We got Kyle Bradish. Bradish is usually good for 3 to 4Ks. We're gonna put him down. About 3 to 4Ks. Yeah, I put him down 3 to 4Ks. And then moving on, we got his opponent that he's pitching against on the mound for the other team, which is Aldegari, Sam Aldegari. I ain't touching this kid. The one for nope, 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 not touching him. He's inconsistent. He gets 1 inning, 5 innings, 3 innings. I ain't touching this guy. Nope. We're gonna go with Bradish for 3 or 4Ks. That's it. I'm gonna leave that Angels pitching alone. He might wind up getting pulled. He looks like he has a short leash by the management. Either they're trying to work him in from injury, or they're trying to work him out or feel him out. I'm good. Miss me with that. All right, so we got the last matchup of the night. We got Atlanta versus San Diego Padres. All right, this looks like a good one. We got Holmes versus King. Okay, it's a righty on righty matchup. How we looking here for favorable matchups? Yeah, they got some people with history. Looks like Telly's has seen him a couple times, but nothing overwhelming. Merrill, he's always good. All right, cool. Let's look at these pitching. All right, Grant Holmes, last previous pitching. We got 2, 2, and 4 for strikeouts. Strikeouts. Yeah, we're gonna take him for 3 to 4. Yeah, he had 2. It looks like when he has one of these, he was in a little bit of a slump. But last time he was against the Padres, my man aired it out. He had 2Ks and then 6Ks back in May. So I'm gonna take him for the 4. Be conservative there. If you want, you can do 3 to 4, but I'll probably take him for the 4. Let's go. Last time, let's see, King. King sitting at 73 strikeouts for the year. Okay, he didn't have the best outing on the last game. He's probably the same thing, anywhere between 3 to 4Ks. Yeah. Last time he was up, he had 1 strikeout over a course of 4 innings. They pulled him. He had 3 runs earned on him. Just wasn't well for him. Last time he faced against the Braves, he got 3Ks. So I'm with you on that. I'll put him down for 3Ks too. If you want, you can put him in the same thing, 3 to 4Ks. So that was Holmes versus King in the Atlanta matchup. All right. I appreciate y'all tuning in, checking it out. Again, this is the channel, Legendary Sports Show, where we just go over all these props and parlays. If you guys have ideas or comments that you want to comment, please, like some of the other people did in the chat, make sure you go ahead and comment on them. Thank you, everybody who was in here. We got Nicholas. Thank you, Leandra. Thank you, Utica over at Bros Talk. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Till the next time, make sure you check out the Etsy shop. We got a bunch of merch in there. Till the next time, Legend out.